You know what's going to be the most difficult question that you ask people right now is, what's your plan in 5 years? Like, you're going to encounter a statistically higher amount of people who don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
I think with a lot of uncertainties around, most people would think that it would be awesome if we can just get this particular year finished and done with, and then we'll be fine. It's really hard to imagine things that are really, really ahead.
It's just funny how you would want to close your eyes and like this year to be finished so that the following year will come, and then you would replan again for your next 5 years. Like, it's almost like, well, this was a write-off.
But then realistically, like, when you have a out of nowhere extraordinary events like this, these are the times where you get the most chance to, not you, but, you know, as a collective, as humanity, that you have a chance to change direction.
As in evolve.
Evolve, like, if you don't handle it, evolution, if you don't handle it well, you end up in disaster. But, you know, evolution is change.
I feel like because we have the ability to imagine, then that's what's become one of the skills that we use. Because how else, what does it mean when we plan for the future? It means we're just imagining.
I have a different perspective about this topic right now. So I think when you mean planning the future, what you really mean is given the current trajectory of the world, how would you like to plan your future? That's different. That's very different.
You're considering imagining to be dreaming.
No. Yes. I think the purest form of imagination is not linear. It comes out of nowhere. Whether or not that's a good thing is another question. But I think for most people, the easiest way to so-called dream ahead is following a linear trajectory in which whatever you dream is an extension to one way or another of the world that you see today and the world that you understand tomorrow, which makes it really hard to dream right now. You know, it's really easy to dream when, you know, the society as a whole is booming, you know, real estate is booming, tech is booming. Then it's really easy to say, as a kid even, then you just say, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a CEO of a company in San Francisco, you know?
But then that kind of means that the current situation now is not inspiring.
It's not inspiring that. So what that version of dreaming really means is that you are witnessing this current socio-economic trends. And then you imagine yourself to be on the top of that trend. Planning almost sounds like it's objective, it's strategical, it is logistical. It is not so much wishful thinking, is it? If you're really seriously doing planning, a lot of things that you do are not pleasant. You know, like buying insurance is not really pleasant. Like preparing for the worst case scenario is non-productive in a way. Like it's literally, by definition, not producing anything positive. You're just preventing the downfall, preventing the negative. Like it takes a bit of mental clarity to think like that.
In this downtime, did you plan to do something, but you never actually did it?
I wanted to learn a lot more than I ended up doing. Because, you know, on paper, right?
Yeah.
If we are really being honest, everyone says, oh, I didn't have time to study. Or, you know, because I'm so absorbed in my work, in my social life, that I never get the chance to learn that thing that I always want to learn. I bet you a lot of people may ended up really just getting absorbed in the negativity and the environment of the social distancing and never really did anything positive during this time.
Which I kind of can understand.
But then I also bet you that there is gonna be a group of people who thinks the opposite, who just like it is so important to remain stoic when you're in a time like this, that whatever the version of the future is gonna hold tomorrow, you kind of social distancing yourself from that vision of the future, and you just really, you actually focusing on the now, which people always talk about, but they want to mean all the time, maybe just to have fun for the time, for the now. This version of living for the now is about like, okay, whatever that version of the future turns out to be, you need to improve yourself. You need to make the best use of your time. And that's really hard because your body even doesn't agree with that.
I mean, naturally, we feel like time is endless. Like, if I didn't get it done today, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I guess this idea of that time is endless is because, like our days start with sunrise and finishes with sunset. And then everything basically gets reset, which makes us think, well, why can't this happen again tomorrow?
That's very true. And then the endlessness concept of time, I think, changes our reality to the one that we see today. Like, if there are so many concepts that are based upon this, diamond, real estate, like these kind of things are, if you think about it, there's nothing real about real estate. There's nothing forever about diamond, because from my subjective perspective, which will, perishes by nature, something that goes on forever does not concern me.
Because you're not going to be here forever?
I'm not going to be here forever. The time horizon of something that's above it and beyond me, and if I care too much about that, that becomes a weird obsession. The idea of the sun going up every day kind of mess around with our head a lot. And then you have this kind of idea of a cycle. I don't know how many days has it been since the start of Earth. Let's just say 10 million days. What if that Earth going up for the last 10 million days was a coincidence, and then tomorrow it does not go up? What if that was just like, I'm sure some science fiction guy would have written about this, but what if that 10 million and the first day was more representative of the true nature of the universe than the last 10 million days? And empirical idea of time would then needs to be adjusted. What do you think will happen